they've been lying to you about Stellar XLM. Here is the truth. So guys, as some of you may or may not know, XLM is one of those coins that I was in originally back in 2022 and ended up ultimately not having enough conviction in the coin and selling it and funneling that into some other coins. And that was absolutely a big mistake because we've seen the likes of XLM go absolutely crazy in the last year or so, and I'm thinking about that from time to time. But at the end of the day, it's an important lesson, and I do think that this coin has still got some potential as we progress potentially into the highly anticipated altcoin run that a lot of us are waiting out for. But for me personally, I do like the coin, and I still think that it does have some potential. But before we jump into the core of the video, I just need to quickly mention there's a quick disclaimer here, guys. Please read this with care. This video is not financial advice. Crypto is volatile and highly risky. No results are guaranteed. This content is for experienced users only, and there's a full legal disclaimer in the description below. So when we look at this, at the moment, I've been seeing a lot of this FUD being thrown around and floating, and it's basically saying that XLM is a scam like XRP. I sold all my XLM, and the fact that it's a garbage project, despite the fact that it's performed pretty well in the past year, considerably higher than a lot of other projects out there. I mean, there's always going to be a bit of FUD out there when it comes to any coin. Again, this is not me telling you to buy XLM by any means. Again, it's not a coin I'm currently in. When we see this, I just find it quite interesting. Some people will never be happy despite some of the really strong performances that we can see. I think that many times when people come into crypto, they're expecting an easy 10x, 20x, and if they get a 5x, it's somehow a really, really terrible result. And I think sometimes people just need to take a little step back and understand that getting a 5x on a coin is absolutely crazy, especially when you're comparing this to stocks. I mean, what, 7 to 10% a year? You can't really complain when you get a strong result like this, right? And you could even funnel this money into some other coins and take profit, right? So I also want to talk about what XLM has actually been working on and achieved recently. So some of these things I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we've got the Protocol 23 upgrade, which essentially is enabled for faster, cheaper transactions and better smart contract support. We've also seen retail payments, so there's a partnership with Aeon to enable XLM USDC payments in Southeast Asian stores, which should help to open up a new market here. We've also seen MoneyGram and Anchor's expanded cash in, cash out settlement networks, especially in Africa and Southeast Asia. Again, with a lot of people in these kind of areas. We've also seen the fact that tokenized assets, Franklin Templeton issued a large US Treasury token. All positive to see when it comes to Stellar, and I'm going to give that a green tick there. Cool. Next thing is often what I've seen in crypto and kind of investing in general is that chaos in many times can create an opportunity, and we've seen that XLM has been taking shots at XRP, and we know how closely related and tied together these coins are, and how that's obviously going to impact a lot of people because a lot of people who hold XLM also hold XRP, I believe, and vice versa, right? So when we see it, oftentimes I believe that short-term noise like this that goes on, unless it's really severe, can create an opportunity, and this is not by any means me telling you to go ahead and buy it. It's just interesting to observe sometimes when you see these short-term bumps, it can create an opportunity to buy in. But again, who knows? I don't know. This is just from what I've seen and my opinion on it. The next thing is that I've also seen that recently XLM has seen a grayscale ETF filing, and this is really, really bullish for all you XLM holders out there. Congratulations to you, because this showing that there's institutional interest in this. Again, I also often mention this on the channel many times before, but when you do see institutional investment, companies such as Grayscale here are multi-billion-dollar companies, and they want their customers to make money, because if their customers don't make money, then they're going to stop using their service, right? And Grayscale want as many people as possible to use this because that will help them make money in the long run. And to me, it also shows that they are looking at XLM and they're understanding that it potentially does have this long-term use case, and it's got all these projects going on. We had Bitcoin have its first ETF start to get approved. It did take a bit of time for us to actually see the impact of the ETFs and the inflows of money, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a large-scale spike here for XLM. And there's obviously no guarantees, but it is really pretty positive to see, and the fact that they're buying in makes it more accessible and legitimate for both institutional and retail investors. And for me, I'm going to give this a green tick, and this is really, really positive to see. And another thing I want to mention here, and I do think, in my opinion, that this is highly overlooked, is the increasing interest and eyeballs that we are seeing on XLM over the last few months. So we have seen at the lowest in June, we've had around about the 300k mark, all the way up to, in August here, around about the 400k. So we are starting to see temporarily at the moment over the last couple of months a spike in performance, which is really positive to see, because it's showing that more people are trying to understand what XLM is and what partnerships they have, and is it really a good investment. These are the type of things, in my opinion, that are good to see. It's showing that it's going in a positive trajectory, and I don't necessarily think that that's just hopium. I just think that it's positive to see this, because when you see coins that have barely any monthly visitors and then they have an incredibly high spike and everyone's talking about it and then it spikes back down, you don't want to see that. So it's good to see that we are seeing a kind of somewhat steady inflow of people here. So hopefully, guys, this has provided you with some value, and thank you very much for watching.